Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Wherever you are in the world, you've got someone here from London, someone here who's in Canada. Welcome to Savva Dagul Discuss, our weekly Spurs review. But with a bit of a difference, Brian Dagul. How are you? And then I will explain all to everybody.
I am really, really good, mate. I am really good. The sun is still shining in Toronto. We're in the 20s. The weather is great. Life is great. And we've been meaning to do something together for a while. And patience, the best come to those who wait. And here we are.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. The number of times I get told or asked, have you fallen out with XYZ because I haven't worked with them for a while? And it's like, listen, I can't work with everyone every day. Like, there's a lot of people. And anyway,
how dare you, Savva? How dare you not work with
I know. I'm horrible. I've just put my heating on as well. It's freezing in London. I'm freezing. I've got a hoodie on. I've put my heating on. My French bulldog's sitting in the corner, really, really cowering away. Listen, for everybody at home, this is a pre-record. Brian and I are going to do this once a week. We'll try and roughly make it Wednesday to Friday, that sort of time, so that we've had a week of things to happen. But Brian, as we've discussed on WhatsApp, this isn't just going to be about, Spurs beat so-and-so, or Spurs so-and-so. We're going to pick 6 topics each week, 10 minutes on each topic, no more, no less. And we're going to take it in turns weekly to pick the 6 topics without telling each other what 6 topics are going to be. So this week, I've picked the topics. That was nearly words. I've picked the topics. Next week, I knew what I meant. Next week, you'll pick the topics. And it can be whatever you want. We'll put each other on the spot. And we'll just have a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a natter. I'm going to start off and let me get my timer ready just to make sure that we only have 10 minutes. Otherwise, it becomes a bit of a bore, doesn't it?
All right.
The first topic is this, Brian. And I'm going to allow you, as with each header, for you to start by taking the sentence in whichever way you mean it, and then we'll evolve it from there.
There we go.
So, have Spurs turned a corner? Go.
Oh, yeah, what a start! What a first question. Do you know what? I looked at this last night. Not this topic, because I didn't know it was going to be. But if you look at it, after the North London derby, and after we lost, and we played well in patches, we limped over the line, and when we 1-0 down, there's no urgency, no whatever. I looked at it, and I've looked at it now, and you look at the last 4 games since then. Coventry, where we got away with one. We got away with one big time. The football was shocking. The selection, everything was shocking.
It was the O.J. Simpson of football, wasn't it? I mean, how we got away with that, we'll never know. But
exactly. Not a clue how we got away with it.
Yeah.
Then it was Brentford, and there were whether you want to say the performance, it was better. There were tweaks. The fullback stayed out wider, which freed up Maddison to be more proactive, and and we got a good result. Brennan Johnson scoring as well in both. Then you look at Karabakh, and it was down to 10 men after 7 minutes, still attacking football. Yes, they had multiple opportunities.
Yep.
The Spurs played their way and got the result. And then Manchester United, which was, in my honesty, it was pure perfection from where we've been. The performance, the style of play, every player played well. Yes, you can say Werner had a bad game, but he contributed in some capacity. And when you say turn the corner, I look at it from the ugly of Coventry to the near on perfection of Coventry United.
Yeah.
4 wins. I don't know why I'm holding 5 hands up.
You're just making up wins now. You're just making them up.
I've got 5 hands, apparently. I'm 3 short of the octopus. Mate, pre-recorded is great fun.
All 4 wins.
Yeah, all 4 wins. All 4 wins, people. We have gone from one side of the beauty. We've gone from the beast to the beauty, haven't we?
Yeah, look, absolutely we have. And by the way, first of all, the first thing I'll say there is I think that the Timo Werner thing is interesting because I don't think Timo Werner played badly.
Neither do I.
Timo Werner finished badly. There's a huge difference. I actually think that, he got in great positions. He offered a lot in that game. The problem is what people will remember is the finishing. But look, moving on from that, listen, I think it's interesting, right? Because you know me, Brian. I'm somebody. I'm a consistency person, right? And people get so bored of hearing me talking about consistency, but that's what football managers and chairmen will talk about. They'll talk about, okay, great, you've given me a great win. What next? Right? What next? And for me, I can't turn around as a fan that has doubted this style of play, that's doubted this manager, doubted this team, and say, oh, I've hated the last 4 wins. Oh, nothing's changed. What I can do as a fan is acknowledge, do you know what a really good 2 weeks.
Yep.
By hook or crook against Coventry, as you said, versus brilliance against Man United and anywhere kind of in between in those 4 games. But for me, to say Spurs have turned a corner from the form we were in, and I know people don't want to hear it, but the form we were in for a very long time was like that. It really was a roller coaster. I want to see more consistency. And lots of people keep having a go at me going, oh, 4 games. And I'm like, that's fine. But and without raining on the parade, I fully expect to beat Qarabag and Coventry. Those games should be games that Tottenham Hotspur, the 8th richest club in the world, that have spent a lot of money, should be. I'm more concerned with Premier League performances. So far, Brentford, good. Man United, brilliant. Now it's about kicking on. So for me, Spurs turning a corner is a little bit more about, can we keep doing it? I'll ask you this question. If we were to now go and lose to Brighton, suddenly it just means, the last 2 wins and we're back to that. Do you know what I mean? So what do you make about the...
do you know what it is as well, Stephen? I've been waiting to say it. When we talk about it, we've seen this season, with the first 3 or 4 games that weren't brilliant in the Premier League, everyone was saying when the heat came on Ange, this isn't just about 4 games, this is about XYZ from last season carrying over. It depends what you want to use your sample size as, doesn't it? Because if you want to say from the start of this season, you can say, right, it started badly against Leicester, but now you're looking at growth. But then if you then add the second half of last season, you're like, well, it's 4 games compared to 30 odd.
Of course.
And then you can say, do you know what? It takes time to build, and maybe the Coventry game and that shit performance was the spark to start. But at the moment, the 4 games is a very, very small sample size. It's great if you want to say, 4 wins in 4, and you want to forget that, but it's got to start somewhere. I actually think we beat Brighton. I actually honestly think we beat Brighton. And I actually think if we can let's not forget tomorrow night is not an easy game. The team is Hungarian. It's going away to a hostile ground. It's getting the job done. He's going to rest players and rotate. But like you said, if we go and lose those 2 games, people start talking about that. But then if we win the next 2 games, people will start coming out and going, well, look, now we're going this way. If we can go into this international break on the back of 6 straight wins, that's a lot better than the first international break.
Right, absolutely, for sure. And you know what? I think that's a really good point as to whether we want to group in last season or not. And fair enough. I get it when people say to me, but last season's last season. Yeah. Look, this season, let's break it down, right? Everyone knows that's one of my... Let's break it down. So far, we've had 6 Premier League games. We've won 50% of them. It's not the worst in the world. Yep. We all know if you want to be a team that is finishing 4th, 3rd, 2nd, unfortunately, 50% needs to be better. So it's a great building block to work off. But as I've said, I just want to see Spurs not do this, because that's what I associate with West Ham, with Newcastle, with Fulham, teams that will win 1, lose 1, draw 1. Our aim, my aim as a fan, your aim as a fan, surely the whole fan base's aim is, and the club's aim is, that we don't want to be having form like those clubs. We want to be having form like Villa, like Chelsea.
Yep.
And aspiring to have the form of Arsenal, Liverpool, City. So I think sometimes it gets misconstrued when people go, oh, no, everything's great. I think it depends what you want for the club, where you see it, how long you think it's going to take to get there. But as a football fan, I can't sit here and say, whatever my grumbles are with Ange, whatever my grumbles are with performances before the last couple of games, I can't sit here and turn around and go, I've not enjoyed winning games. That'd be completely irrational to be that type of football fan.
Oh, God, listen, completely. You are bang on the money. Listen, everyone wants the successful Tottenham. We all know the gripes that people have or sections of fan base have with whether it be board, manager, players, fans on fan, whatever it may be. But like you said, we want better. We want to see better. And like I said, people, this is the bit, there's no set recipe, is there, for what staple you use to back your argument up. If you want to use it as in, let's see how bad it is. I mean, people were saying that Ange hasn't beaten a top 6 club. Well, now we have beaten a top 6 club. People were saying, like, well, so Man U are shit now. They're 13th. I'm like, well, what can you do? They're still a top 6 club. They are the biggest club in the world. We've beaten them in a ground. We don't do it. But this is what we're up against, Savva. It's if there was a divine metric that everyone agreed with and stood by, say, right, this, but there's not. And people will always fix it. And don't get me wrong, I've done it before with a certain board before in my plan. I've done that. I can't get away from that. But now I look at it and like, it depends. You've got to look at some positives and, as well as the negatives. You've got to be able to balance. But I think Spurs are put it this way. I think we're just, if you're on the 200 meter or 400 meter relay, I think we're just getting to that bend.
When watching a 200 meter race, I don't know. I've watched 200 meter races for decades. I still can't tell as they're going into that bend who's going to come out of the bend in front. I still can't tell.
It's an optical illusion. It's an optical bloody illusion.
The commentators say, "Oh, the guy in lane 4, the girl in lane 4," and I'm like, they look like they're miles behind. But look, we've got 20 seconds left of this topic. To round it off, I think you're right. First of all, there isn't a predefined metric in which every single fan in the fan base is judging the club upon. That's what makes it very difficult when debating. Second of all, listen, critique, but praise. There's got to be a medium. Anyway, we're up. 10 minutes is up. The next conversation, this one's going to be interesting. And we're not going to name names. It's not the sort of channel I am. Brian Daigle. This might need more than 10 minutes.
Sorry, my internet's going. My internet's got cat.
Internet beef. Brian, let me ask you. Look, YouTube beef. I feel like we're getting away from this stage now of we're trying to separate. I love this channel because they're proper fans versus this channel, they're fake fans because of differences of opinions.
Yep.
Do you see what I mean? I just find like that's causing, I hate this term, but YouTube beef. I feel like it's causing people to go at each other when we're all Tottenham Hotspur fans. It's madness.
Well, the good thing is, Savva, with this, I can use me as the perfect example. And I can use what I've seen. Obviously, people will know I've changed my tactic, my approach, my message is still the same. The delivery, however, is different now.
Yeah.
And because of that, I got invited onto Chris Cowling's show.
Yeah.
As you were aware, and I let you know beforehand, and many other people.
Yep.
Because of my change in stance, Chris Cowling has reached out to me. I'm going to go on the show.
Yep.
And have the chat because we had loads of people in our YouTube Levy Out community. Oh, Cowling doesn't have people on. He won't have Levy Out on. He won't do this. He won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they get one on in me and probably, without blowing my head, a very recognizable member of Levy Out for whatever. And then I'm a sellout.
Yeah.
I'm a sellout because I went on that show that everyone wanted to get a Levy Out person on. And I saw you sent me even the message, and I saw it. You were one of the people when you were live and someone said, Daigle's on Cowling. Like, can you believe he sold out? And you were like, no. Go listen to what he's talking about. I guarantee.
Yeah.
And we spent on one stream 85% talking about Levy. 85% of the show. And honestly, the grief I got on our chat, just because I went on a show that people wanted it. This YouTube world is just
madness.
It's crazy.
Brian, I mean, do you know what? Look, I've always maintained to every YouTuber out there, right? I am my own person, right?
Yep.
Before Football Heritage TV, which is a brand name, I am Richard Savva, right?
Yep.
My views about Tottenham Hotspur are my views. That's Richard Savva's views. And I can stream with who I like. I can YouTube with who I like. I can invite who I like onto my show. I can go onto any shows I want. But you watch, if I do that, it's, I can't believe you went on that show because he fell out with him and she fell out with her. And Brian, I'm a 41-year-old guy, right? If I invite you on my channel, my first thought isn't, has Brian fell out with somebody else that I work with? That's not my issue. I don't care about all that he said, she said. I'm a grown man. If you've got beef with me or any other YouTuber out there's got beef with me, you know what? It's not difficult to get hold of my phone number, right? Because if you haven't got it, you know somebody in the community that has, and they can say, so-and-so wants to talk with you. But this whole YouTube beef world, again, if we move it away from the way that the viewers see it, and the viewers spark up a lot of the beef. We know, Dagul, the people that go into each show going, oh my God, I've just been into Savva, and Savva said this about you, Brian, and Brian's just said this about Savva, and Savva said this about Stel, and Stel said this about Boom, and Henry said this about Sean, and Sean. I ain't got time for all that. Listen, all the people I mentioned, if I've got a problem with you, I've never had a problem with you. If I've got a problem with you, you know I'm picking up the phone. Stel knows I'm picking up the phone to him. Henry, Sean, Kate, Jim, Nick, Irish Hotspur, whoever it is, if I've got a problem with you, Brian, I'm picking up the phone and going, why did you just do that? Or what? So why, as a community, is there still so much beef? Is it because of the dividing opinions? If we move it towards creator versus creator, and the last thing I'll say before I let you go for a few minutes is, it's this incessant need that we have to call each other out, to make videos about one another, to hint at people who say, I'm seeing people put videos out there like, oh my God, this creator has said boom, boom, boom. And this creator has said boom, boom, boom. And then everyone in the chat goes, oh, I hate that bloke. I hate that channel. I hate her. I hate him. Isn't it just all a bit silly over 11 men running around kicking a football?
So there you go. I mean, as you know, so I mean, first of all, group chats, I leave them immediately. WhatsApp group chats are the most poisonous things in the world. I have a Tottenham on Tour one with select people. I have my Edic out ones with the family that I do the protests with. And I have one from my table at the Scotland Yard to make sure everyone's come in and just... That's it. Any other Tottenham chat, YouTube or not YouTube, just group chat that I'm added into, I leave immediately and go, groups aren't for me. If you want to talk to me privately, you've got my number. Here you go. But I'm going to just bring up another story as well, because
go for it.
There's one, and I am going to bring up. People will know. Anyone that watches this show or any show will know that I have a very, 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 very tight relationship with We Are Tottenham TV. Incredibly tight. Like, we're family now. Massive slander of them. Oh, not slander. That's all right. When they were in the H Club and they did their video from the H Club, and we're like, oh, they've sold out. Levy's got some. Da, 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 da. And I was like, no, I got tagged in so many things. Your boys have said that. No, I will tell you now exactly what happened. Not from Levy, not from Spurs. The guy or the company that sponsored their tour of the Far East for the pre-season, when they went to Singapore, Japan, Korea for Spurs pre-season, they own a box at Tottenham. They were invited as guests to go to that game to discuss future opportunities, whatever. What are we at Tottenham TV going to say? Thanks for sending me to Singapore, Japan.
No,
I don't want this opportunity. You want to. So, but because they were there straight away, everyone jumps on it. Oh, they're sellouts. They talk Levy out, but they do. No, it's nothing to do with the club. But because this whole thing, and you've seen it, Savva, 2 + 2 equals anything but 4 sometimes.
All the time.
People will know I would be the biggest hypocrite if I got involved. I refuse on Twitter spats and WhatsApp. I am the advocate that I am for mental health addiction, as you know full well, Savva, and what you do as well with your charity streams.
Yeah.
If I get involved in all this shit, I'm the biggest hypocrite of them all.
I agree.
And I step back now. It's not because I don't want to take sides. It's not because I don't want to get involved. It's because I just can't do it, and it's not right. And it's a lot of this is obviously because there are channels that have a view on the ownership, and they see it differently, or the manager, or a player. I honestly think, I've said it before, I honestly think, do you remember that Jim Carrey show, The Truman Show? That movie?
Yeah.
I actually think if you're born a Tottenham fan, there's people up in space or wherever watching every Spurs fan. They go, let's go see the Canadian fans. And we are part of a social experiment.
Do you know what? Mad. Do you know what? I make you right. Listen, I used to be somebody that, I was heavily involved with going on to every channel in this drama, that drama. He said this, she said that. And I was in WhatsApp groups. And I've really changed my tact in this since I've come back. I had that 3-4 months off. Yep. Since I've come back, I'm not in a single WhatsApp group. The only football WhatsApp group I'm in is a WhatsApp group I had from back in the day. Like I'm talking about this group is 10 years old. And there is the only other person you could resemble as a YouTuber in there is Perchy, who used to be a YouTuber. Right? Other than that, it's loads of my mates, loads of some older boys that we were friends on Twitter back in the day, and we had a group called Levy Out and blah, blah. Now we talk.
Good group name. Good group name.
Yeah. I don't have a Football Heritage TV group with loads of people. I just say, right, who wants to come on? I message people. If I want them to come on, if I want to do a show, I'll reach out. If you want to do a show with me. Now, that means I don't get invited to a lot. Now, I can take that in two ways. One, I'm absolutely hated. Fine. I can be hated. I don't mind. Two, I'm not in the circles. Like, I don't ever get invited onto We Are Tottenham TV. It's fine. It's not my business. If they don't want me on there, they don't want me on there. I don't get invited onto Last Word on Spurs. I don't get invited onto Chris Cowling. Do you know what, though, Brian? I don't need to be, right? I'm happy. This isn't a full-time job for me. I'm not out there trying to get onto TalkSport. And, listen, if TalkSport picked up the phone and said, here's $5,000 to do a show, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not angling for that. What I want to do is my content, right? I've said to you and many others, I will always stay true to myself. Can I come across sometimes a little bit forthright, a little bit in your face? Brian, I think we all know I can. But I think
me. It's not just you.
No, I know, but the real people that know me, Brian, like you know that that's just the way I talk. It's football. It's never personal. Yep. And for me, I just think that to round all this off, because we have just slightly gone over the 10 minutes, I just think that all YouTubers, I can't tell people what to YouTube about, but my advice is just do your own content. There's no need to make videos about, oh my God, this guy said this and this guy, this constant need to air dirty laundry on the internet. I was brought up so differently. If me and you fell out, I don't know. If we fell out about money, relationships, friendship, I don't care, whatever it is. I'm not going to go onto the internet and go, Brian Dagul, what an arsehole. He did it. I'm ringing you up directly and going, oi. Oi. Exactly. Right. Anyway.
Well, I was just say one more thing on this, Savva. Just one more thing. This is why, like you were saying about shows to do. If people know, with the show that I do every evening, Monday to Thursday evening brews, I've made it a major thing to bring on new people. I've made it a major thing to not bring on recognised YouTubers, because you're just regurgitating the same stuff that you're hearing if you go over to your channel, Danny, Tottenham Away, Irish, wherever you go. It's the same. So I always enjoy at the moment bringing on people that I've met via X or people in the chat on my channel, because it's different opinion. Like you kind of do your Come and Debate Me show. Yeah. But I do it obviously one-on-one thing. But that's what I'm doing now, because we've been around it. Like I said, it's the circuit, isn't it? It's a YouTube circuit, let's just say. It's like speed dating, and you just go round and I'll go on this show and talk about this. Then I'll go on this show and talk about this. Evening, I want to bring new people in.
No, mate, absolutely. I think after a while, like, I know for example, I went on the other week to the Irish Hot Spurs show. And by the way, me and Dave are friends. Me and Dave talk. We do a show together. And this is nothing about him. I went onto his show and the comment section was just so poisonous. This isn't about Dave. I could imagine if I went into last word on Spurs, if I went on to Chris Campbell, the comment sections against people like me who might have a different opinion are so poisonous, Brian, that I just take a step back and go, I'm not going to go on other people's shows. And it's not that I'm scared. You know me, I'll debate anybody. I open up my channels. But for my own mental health and things like that, I'm like you. I don't do social media. I literally talk on YouTube. I drop off. And still, even last night, I'm getting people going, do you know the thing is about you, Savva? You're very unlikable. You're not good for the community. And my response to this person was I good for the community when I was raising £20,000 last year for charity?
Exactly.
Was that good for... I'm just asking for a friend. Like, do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Was I good for the community when people like Danny came onto my show and because he came onto my show decided, hang on, I want a YouTube channel?
Correct.
Right? People like Danalist, who was on your show the other day, Dan. Yeah?
Love him.
The same thing. Came on my show, said, oh, I want to do this. Can I help? But anyway, it is what it is. Moving on. Next subject. Brian, what can Spurs achieve this season? Long way to go.
The quad. Let's be ultra. We're doing it all. We're
all right.
We've just won another award today, by the way. I can't remember what it was. Tottenham tweeted. Oh yeah, the diversity. So that we've achieved diversity, which is always great. But no, in all honesty, when it comes to what we can achieve this season, I want a cup, and I think we can actually win a cup. I actually think we can win a cup. And you know what? I'm going to bring this back to the first topic as well. Have we turned the corner kind of thing? That Carabao game, I thought, please, whatever you do, don't make wholesale changes like you did in the Carabao Cup against Fulham, against Coventry. Yes, make a few adjustments. Don't make wholesale changes, because if you haven't, I'm going to think, do you know what? You are taking this. Vicario in goal. I was like, there we go. That's straight away, right? Okay. And I think Vicario needed that game because he pulled off some stunning saves, didn't he? And it's kind of where there was a bit of, oh, is he up to the task? So I think he's going to take the Europa League very, very, very seriously. I mean, if I was in charge right now, that would be all my eggs in, or not all my eggs, but all my eggs would be in the cups as opposed to Premier League. Premier League take care of itself. Let's get a trophy. Let's do it. I think we can win a cup this season. Obviously, Carabao Cup, Man City in the next round isn't.
I mean, look, I agree with you. Look, it's I did a show yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw it or saw it advertised.
Ben and Coover, I need to see it. I need to watch it.
Me, Ben and Coover, and we took a little trip down memory lane. Even though I get called a fake fan, I seem to know quite a lot about the club. But we took a trip down memory lane, and winning trophies is a theme that is constant, right? And it's such a shame so few players we talk about as winning trophies at Tottenham Hotspur. And we were looking yesterday at how many top players of Spurs had in the Premier League era and how few of them had actually done that with a trophy. Right. And look, I think it's interesting, right? Listen, I'm one of these. You know, if you get Man City in the cup, you get Man City in the cup. Yep. I don't think it's the worst cup to draw them in. I think if you draw them in the FA Cup, he takes that more seriously. Now, that's not me saying, by the way, that if we beat a watered down, with Man City is a very loose term because of their squad. If we beat a watered down Man City, I'm not going to turn around and go, yeah, but we only won because they were weaker. No. If you want to go weaker, cool, we'll go strong. We'll take advantage. We'll smell blood.
Correct.
That's what I want to see from Postecoglou when we play Man City. You know what Pep will do. The problem with Pep rotating is, you saw last night, Pep made 6 changes for a Champions League game. And they should have won about 15-0. They had about 85% possession. But
it's ridiculous.
I agree with you. What I want to see is put your best team out. All right, 2 or 3 changes. Put the nucleus of your team out. Yeah.
Yep.
When it gets to the FA Cup, put a good, strong, solid team out. And Europa League, look, it's a long competition, right? It's a lot of games. But there's no reason why we can't be in the mix. I'm not going to sit here and go with the best team in it.
Yep.
We should be in those 5 or 6 clubs in the mix that people are talking about. So I agree with you completely. A trophy for me surpasses finishing 4th and without a trophy. That's just for me.
So you know what it is as well, Sam? What I think is massive in this, and I've mentioned it before, is if we are going to get that, and we do get in the advanced stages of a trophy, is more than his style of play right now. I'm looking at his game management. When is he making his subs? Is he realizing we haven't got one game a week? What
Agreed.
games do you Because I've just brought it out. If you look at it with the Man City game, when we come back from the international break, we got West Ham at home, Alkmaar at home, Palace away, and then check these fixtures out. Back to back, Man City Cup, Villa at home, followed by Galatasaray away.
Yeah.
So it's Man City, Villa, Galatasaray. If you just take those 3, Villa obviously is a huge game for race for 4th. Let's just say, because let's just say that's where we could be competing. Whether I think we get there, is he going to go full strength there? That's bouncing off Man City. So Man City, obviously, I agree with you. I remember. Do you remember when Dele Alli scored that goal against the Filth? That lovely little lob volley, that lob 2-0 when we beat him in the Carabao Cup. Arsenal went weak, we went strong. If you're going to win a cup, you're going to have to play the best. And to be, so if you get them there, what a confidence booster that will. Like you said, any Man City squad, you beat them. That's a shot in the arm for confidence. And then game management for me. This is why I was so delighted. Even with Ben Davies, if Ben Davies is in that lineup tomorrow, I don't care. Because he's rotating and thinking, right, I need to keep Van der Ven fit, or I need to rest Destiny because I need to keep them fit.
Yeah.
And I'm so far with his game management, it's looking that way. And hopefully, I think that is the key for later glory.
Do you know what? Listen, in-game management for me is the most important thing for any football manager. It's okay. When you're playing one game a week, it's okay to say, this is my 11. If they're fit, they play. Great. Everyone expects that. Last season, you expect we are playing. I mean, last week, I think it averaged out because of all the international breaks. I think it averaged out that Spurs played something like once every 13 days or something. And if that's the case, you just go, right, what's your best 11 that are fit?
Correct.
Go. We weren't in cups for long, so do it. This year, this is a different ball game. This is a different test of management. And this isn't just about it being Postecoglou. This is about any manager. You've got more games. How do you manage that scenario? How do you look at, shit, we've got Villa, followed by Galatasaray in the space of 3 days. What do we do?
That's it.
Right? Who's fit enough to play 2 games versus who's fit enough to play 1 game? Who's more important to play against Ollie Watkins versus Victor Osimhen of Galatasaray? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
This is what top managers are judged by. This is what I will judge Ange Postecoglou by. So if this goes back to what we said about have Spurs turned a corner, and we talk about the wins we've had in the last 2 weeks, great. But when those tougher periods start to come and the games are thick and fast and you've got Galatasaray, Villa, City in a row, that's a real test. Equally, I think one of the key things for me here is then we're going to be able to see as the season moves on, as we pick up injuries, as players get tired, because they will, playing this formation, this style, we're going to see how good the transfer window was or wasn't. You know, at the moment, Odegaard and Richarlison are out, right?
Yep.
Everyone else, I know Sonny missed 1 game, but Odegaard and Richarlison have been out for the long term.
Yep.
For me, that's not an injury crisis. When you get to the stage where you go, shit, we got 7 or 8 players missing, right?
Yep.
That's when we're going to see, right, how well did we do with our squad building? How well can we rotate when 7 or 8 players are missing? So for me, I think it's really interesting. I think you're bang on the money, Brian. And If he wins a trophy this year, fans like me turn around and go, "Thank you."
Correct.
Thank you.
And this is the thing. Like I said, I think we, as you know, you and me have supported this club for a long, long time, as have many of your viewers and whatever. When it has come to Europa League, whether it be Conte in the Conference League, whether it be Poch in the Europa League, whether it be when it comes to this cup, especially Poch even mentioned it, he rested players, because the Premier League was more important. It was like, right, I need everyone fit there. So he did that with cups. Coventry, you could say, yeah, he heavily rotated. We got away with it. But when I only saw 4 or 5 changes, and it was players where I was like, do you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense. I just hope when we see the team sheet tomorrow, he's picked another 3 or 4 to say, right, you played Coventry, Karabag, blah, blah, blah. You're coming out for ready for. If he can get it right where 3 or 4 players will rotate, then he could be onto a winner. I think him putting that first lineup out, being serious, was a clear indication that he ain't going to take this. He ain't disrespecting this cup, and I think we've got a strong possibility.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, look, I said I actually watched Ferencvaros the other week, not on purpose. I had them in an ACCA. I had them in a. Yeah, I know. I love an ACCA. I had them in an ACCA. I won last night, by the way. I had them in an ACCA, and so I put it on Bet365 where you can watch the game. Yep. And they were a decent team, decent. And I mean, but a team nonetheless. Spurs shouldn't be losing to, but it's a European away game in Hungary. It's going to be hostile. You've got to make sure you've got enough experience out on that pitch to cope with that. So look, we'll see tomorrow. I fully expect Spurs to go to Ferencvaros and win. But look, a trophy would see him as only one of 3 men in 33 years to win a trophy. Like, first of all, that's an appalling statistic, but that would elevate him immediately from all the others. Well, from
correct,
and Ramos and Graham, for anyone who's wondering who have won the trophies, 2 managers that are never talked about when people talk about their favourites.
Correct.
Moving on, this is a topic for you: fake fans versus real fans in 2024. Aren't we all Spurs fans? Win, lose, or draw? Very poetic of me.
Yes.
Brian, the reason I bring this up is, God, listen, we put ourselves out there. We put our face to a camera. We put our channels out there with comments open so people can come and say what they want. I've never seen it as bad as I have this year with fans calling other fans fake fans because they've got a different narrative about the club, because they've got a different opinion, because they've got a different experience. And what I'm starting to see is I'm seeing a lot of fans now, they go into the comment section of, how can I say it, of more positive channels.
Yep.
And they say things like, and by the way, I know this because you know what it's like as a YouTuber, people send you on WhatsApp screenshots. This so-and-so said this about you. So-and-so said this. Have you seen this? Have you seen it? And you're like, oh my God, just stop sending me stuff. Yep. And it's always people going into these other comment sections going, I love this channel. You guys are real fans. Not like that Savva. I'll use me. I won't use other YouTubers. I'll use me as an example.
Yep.
Not like that negative Savva prick.
Yep.
And I think to myself, Brian, I've been a Tottenham fan for 40 years, right? Give or take. 40 years. And I've got fans now that have joined and started supporting this club in the last 2 years, or have joined since Postecoglou's come in, or have been here for the last 5-10 years, saying things like, oh, that's Savva. Yeah, he's not a real fan. Brian, what is all this fake fan versus real fan nonsense? What is this?
I don't listen to. I listen. It makes me sick. But like I said to you, it goes back to the Truman Show. If there isn't a bitch and an argument, a Spurs fan somewhere implodes. It's just you cross your fingers that it's not you that implodes, but somewhere, if someone's not arguing with someone about Spurs, a Spurs fan implodes. That it's literally it's how it happens. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. What I will say is, it doesn't matter where you are. I'll say it from when I lived in Israel, or you got Ronnie Rosenthal. When you get Ronnie Rosenthal in, a load of Jewish people will support Spurs. When you got Human Son, a load of Korean fans. When you got, and it also goes to managers. When we know when Mourinho came in, he has an army of fans, and it's like you can't say anything bad about him.
Yeah,
and people. I think what happens here now. I know a lot of Australian fans that are Spurs fans before Ange came, and there's some that have become active in chats since Ange became a Spurs manager. And I understand that. And that's completely bang on. Why are they going to join a Spurs chat if there's no link to Australia or
yeah.
So, but then what you got to look at it as well is these fans come up because you can't say anything bad about. Listen, I would be defensive, or if it was about someone of my country or whatever. But there comes a point where it's like, just because you and I have been known as negative and anti-board and anti-this, you and I could say, do you know what? I think Ange was wrong there. And it's like I've just accused him of stabbing my mother. It's like, why are you going mad about my Ange? I'm like, whoa. If your manager at work fucks up, you will go, do you know what? What the hell's he done here? It gets to a point where, and again, I've made sure, and obviously when you've got Ben, the Kaufman mod father, as a part of your channel, your chat's going to be pretty okay. There's our chat. I go into some chats, like yours is horrific at times.
Oh,
if there had to be a YouTube award or trophy, so we can have one for people's toxicity, there are a few. I mean, your chat, Savva, I watch you, and then sometimes like I can't watch this because of just what's going on in the chat. But getting back to fake fan versus real fan, you're a fan. Whether you believe someone supports the club wrong, that's your opinion.
Exactly.
Did you agree with me being outside a training ground at 6 a.m. in a cold January to air my frustrations? You probably didn't.
Yeah.
But like you, Savva, you and I are man of our words. We do as we say and we say as we do.
Yep.
And I felt I had an obligation to represent how I feel about the club and get it out there. Doesn't mean I'm a fake fan. Doesn't mean I'm looking for clicks, likes, and subscribes. It's just I felt that I needed to get my word out. I did. Did it bear fruit? Some will say yes, some will say no, some will say doesn't make me a fake fan. Doesn't make me. I'm a real fan. I'm born and bred Tottenham. You're born and bred Tottenham. And because, like I said, I'm used to Australians now, and I love the Australian support. I absolutely adore it. In fact, a lot of people have become attached to Spurs because, and I imagine it happened the same back in the day of Harry Kewell.
For sure.
But back then,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong. That's what I'm saying. But what happens is because a load of Australians have come in, all the fans that aren't Australian now go, "You're fake. You're fake." No, they're real.
Listen, I think I don't care whether somebody comes to support Spurs since yesterday.
Exactly.
I don't care if somebody supports Spurs for 40, 50 years. I might absolutely disagree with them. Let's have a look. Let's look at me and Sean. Me and Sean, big up. Hope he's well wherever he is. Sean and I get on very well. Like away from YouTube, and we get on very well. We have really good chats. We both think I hope I'm speaking for Sean as well. He might hate me, but we like each other as people. Doesn't mean we can't have a good old ding dong derby.
And you have
on it, and we have on a YouTube debate. I don't ever turn around and go, "Oh, you're not a fan," because he has this this persuasion about something, and I have this persuasion.
Exactly.
And for me, this whole narrative is just crazy. Like somebody sent me a screenshot yesterday. I won't name names, and I'm not going to name which channel it was in, but it was a screenshot of somebody had done a video. It was a video that I didn't completely agree with, but listen, YouTube creators can make whatever they want to create, right? And all the videos, the comments in the section, it's completely agree with you, completely agree with you, completely agree with you. I'm here because you're a top fan, not like that guy Savva. He's poison. He drives a wedge between fans. One that I always get is he does it for clicks and views. Brian, I hate to break it to people, but if my channel for the last 3-4 years across both podcast and YouTube had been more positive
Yep.
I'd have 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers. So I don't think when people actually say this, oh, the controversy sells, I don't actually think it does. What it actually means is a lot of people message and say, you're not positive enough for me. I'm unsubscribing. I get that daily. Yep. I don't like what you've said. Like, it's mad. Grown-ups that can't say, oh, I don't agree with that. Here's why, but thanks for the content. It's, oh, I hate your content. You didn't like this. You said Ange out at one point. I just can't understand, Brian. We're all fans of the club, right? I don't make enough money on YouTube for me to have a false thingy. I don't know if people think that I sit here and go, oh, I'm really disappointed with this. The stats show this. We need to get better at this. I hate the board. And then all of a sudden the cameras turn off and I go, oh, God, isn't it great? Isn't everything brilliant at Spurs? I'm just lying.
Everything's spiffing.
Right. And this is what I don't get. So for me, when I talk about fake fans versus real fans, and I'm going to give this section 15 minutes. I am going to give it an extra few minutes, purely because one of the things I can't stand, Brian, is when Spurs win, we beat Brentford.
Yep.
We beat we beat Karabag. We then beat Man United. It's the fans that insinuate that fans like me, I can't group you into this. I don't know what messages you get. Savva's in the mud. He wanted us to lose. Whoa. I've been a fan for 40 years. I don't ever want Tottenham Hotspur to lose games of football. I want Tottenham to win 38 league games out of 38.
Yep.
I want Spurs to win everything. And it's this, you're in the mud. Maybe because I predicted a draw and then a win occurred. And even when Spurs lose, they'll go, oh, Savva wanted this. And I just sit there and I think to myself sometimes, is this what being a football fan in 2024 is, Brian? That we're this childish as a fan base that rather than, and hear me out on this, rather than going, what a win, rather than people typing in YouTube comment sections, great win, what did you think of this, really happy, the first thought is, look at you, you're in the mud, you're a prick, you're this is why you're a fake fan, you're a hater. And then that causes YouTubers, I'm not going to call names out, so they start making videos about, Ange just put everyone in the mud, and just silences critics. Hang on. Imagine every time Spurs lost a game, I did a video going, there you go, Ange lovers in the mud, Ange lovers proof. How toxic is all of this? It's madness, Brian.
But first of all, if I could put in the mud into room 101, I would. It's the most overused quote. I hate these quotes that come out. I hate it. But this is the thing, and you just said something I was going to say. What happens is if people that are anti-Ange or anti whatever's going on, when we put in a performance like that on Sunday, everyone comes out going, people like yourself, maybe me and some, not so much anymore, but oh my God, they got it wrong. But then in the performance against Coventry, when you're going, do you know what is going on here? What the hell has happened? It's like, well, we got through, or you see, Ange got it done in the, and I'm just using Ange because Ange is, it doesn't matter whether it be even Brennan Johnson, who I backed the whole way. This is what happens. Oh, he's shit. He doesn't score. He doesn't do anything. He then scores 4 goals in 4 games, which, let's face it, and I'm not comparing him to Harry Kane, so don't even clip this or whatever. If Harry Kane had scored 4 goals in 4 games, you go, that's just Harry Kane doing Harry Kane things. Because that's what you expect of him. But then Brennan Johnson does 4 against 4, and it's like, well, they're shit teams. That's what he should do. What makes it so bad with this, and this is what I'm saying with faith, every single time the goalposts move. The Spurs lose and lose badly, and you and I come out and say, you know what, we played dreadful, we did this, we did that. Oh, well, look at the stats. We had this XG. Shots on goal. We did this, we did that.
Yeah.
Okay, but what did it say in the top left-hand corner?
Yeah.
What's that stats done for us? Because they can't. It's on both sides. It's just
these people can never be wrong, Brian. Because what makes me laugh is, and as I said, I've seen Spurs YouTubers doing this, is and fans in the chat, when we lost 2 games in a row, it was every excuse in the world as to why we lost 2 games in a row. Then when we win 2 games in a row, everyone is in the mud that didn't believe we could. Now, first and foremost, what I find hilarious about this is surely we can't do this on a game-by-game basis.
Oh, we can.
It cannot be, like, for example, it cannot be we beat Man United 3-0. Oh, my God, everything's great. We're winning the league. People were ringing up TalkSport saying Spurs can win the league.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Equally, it can't be that we hypothetically lose to Brighton and it's, there we go, we're getting relegated. Why can't we just go like back in the day, Brian? What a good win that was. We move to next week's game.
Correct.
Why has every game got to be such dramatic consequences for portions of the fan base, the manager, the players? And it works both ways. Listen, Brennan Johnson, he's not my favourite player.
Yep.
I don't enjoy watching him play. Equally, can I put my hand up and say 4 in 4 is good? Absolutely. But, Brian, you know me. I don't judge my ability. I don't judge my opinion of a footballer on 4 games.
No.
Right. If I did that, Eric Dyer had great form for Spurs back in the day at times. I didn't rate him. Moussa Sissoko had some great games in Europe. I didn't rate him. You know, it's each to their own, but I just feel that we need to stop dramatising every single win is the greatest and every single defeat is the worst. It just feels to me like we just... I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened to the fan base.
What I'll say as well is if we lose and we've played to our best ability and in fairness, the best team won, you come off the pitch and go, do you know what? Spurs game, they threw the kitchen sink. It just didn't happen. Fine. Yep. That's what you say. But then if we lose a game poorly, let's say Newcastle 4-0. When we lost Newcastle, our injuries. It's like, well, Newcastle had more injuries than us. It's like you can't have it. If we lose a game and we play bloody well, I'll be like, fair play, what can you do? We're unfortunate. But when we have lost a game playing badly, you don't need to go, but again, we had these stats, we had this and that one's out. No. We got battered.
Yeah.
We got played off the park. And there's criticism of that because a team the stature of Tottenham Hotspur and the reputation globally and historically of Tottenham Hotspur, this shouldn't be acceptable. As a fan, I don't accept our team being this bad. But there's just, and like I said, it's like an episode of EastEnders.
Every week.
Every week.
Every single week. And Brian, listen, look, I received a message last night. It was in my comments. It was for everyone to see. And it was from a lad that looked like he was 22, 21. And it said, you are what's wrong with the Spurs fan base. And I thought to myself, I said, this is interesting. I said, look, do you mind telling me how old you are? Because I said, I was travelling with Spurs to European games and watching Spurs in FA Cup finals before you were born.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that's not me sitting there, Brian, going, look at me, I'm a great fan. This is me going, I can't be what's wrong with a football club because I've been there through really bad times. I've been there through really good times. And I've been there through this, which is like that. Whatever people want to say, our form over the last year has been very hit and miss. If you point this out, it's almost like you said, as though people are going, like, it's like you're talking about somebody's mum or dad. Like, it's like you are being personal. I just turned around to this person and I said, fans like me, I said, first of all, a fan like me, whether you like my opinions or not, I've given you a platform to write the message that you are writing right now.
Yep.
Fans like me give my time, right? Yes, we get paid some money, but as you know, Brian, it's not enough that we go, oh, let's quit our day jobs and just do YouTube. But we give our time, thumbnails, paying for StreamYard. People don't realize you've got to pay for this access for StreamYard every month.
Yep.
We have to get guests. We have to create thumbnails. We have to think of content and write it down, right? We do all of this because we're fans of the club and we want to give a platform for people to speak.
Correct.
So when it's thrown back at me that fans like me are the problem, I look back and I think, How much money have I spent in the last 40 years, whether that be on food and drink, tickets, programs, coach travel, train travel, airfare, away tickets, European hotels, hotel stand. Now, I look at all of that, and then I've got people going, you're a fake fan. You're what's wrong with this club. And I just think to myself, this at times isn't a fan base I want to be a part of. This shouldn't be it. Most fan bases lose their game or win their game, whatever, and their first thing is to go and battle other fan bases.
Yep.
We've turned inwards, Brian.
Correct.
We've turned inwards. We're not throwing stones outside of our window. We're throwing them in our living room at each other. And I just don't get it. I don't get why. And can I tell you one last thing before we move on subject? I want to win a trophy more than anything else at Tottenham. We've talked about this for years. Many of us have.
Mm-hmm.
My worry about winning a trophy, Brian, is that if Spurs go and win a trophy, will the whole fan base celebrate it? Or are we going to use it as ammunition to turn on ourselves and go, look what he did. Look what the player did. Brennan scored in the cup final. Or are we just going to all lose our minds and celebrate? You know the answer, Brian.
Well, the thing is, people have said to me, if we ever get to a final or win, will you fly home for the parade, the enjoyment? It's like, nope. I'm going to celebrate with everyone at my local pub and Toronto Spurs, where I've been celebrating with them or going through that, because I know what, like you just said, what you just said will happen. The latter. Let's just hope we win the trophy to put this to the test. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a horrible place at the moment, the Spurs fan base. It's a horrible place. Listen, like I said, it's the reason I took a step back. I can't be bothered with all the arguments and whatever. And hopefully there'll be some kind of resolution. I don't see it though.
No, it's madness. Like I know. And do you know what I'm going to do by way of proof? Over the next 2 days, I'll see what comments I get in my YouTube. I'm going to send them to you on WhatsApp, just so you can see a sample of what I mean, and then we can talk about it on next week's show. Listen, I've skipped one. I've skipped one that went over a little bit. I've skipped one topic that we can chuck into another week. But the last topic I want to talk about is this. This is a really interesting one that I see a lot of people talking about. It's about big players leaving, and what I mean by this, Brian, is we, as a club, we've been a club where down the years we've had lots of good players. To win things, they've invariably left. Right? Yep. Now we've had some that are more loyal than others. Yep. We've had some that have first opportunity have jumped ship. The names that jump out at me are, Teddy Sheringham left to go and win the treble. Yeah, Michael Carrick left to go and win everything. Yep. Modric left to go and be one of the best players in the world and win everything. Gareth Bale left to go and win everything. Carl Walker, right? Harry Kane's left. I think Bayern Munich will win something this year, but Harry Kane's left to win things. There's never a chance that Bayern Munich go 2 years without winning a single trophy.
100%.
And my in the back of my mind, my concern always is when we talk about projects, when we talk about building blocks and processes, one of the things in the back of my mind is always, sure, for fan base, we can sit there and go, cool, we'll wait. I'm going to use Romero as the example for this, Brian. Christian Romero, at the end of this season, will have 2 years left.
Yep.
And that's that really delicate time for a club where they go, do we sell now for 70? I'm just making up a number, right? 70 million. Or do we wait for this guy to have 12 months left? Now he's worth 25 million. Now, that's assuming he'll want to leave. My big thing is going to be, will these players look at what's going on at Spurs and say, you know what? No, I'm going to see this through for however many years it takes. Do you think we've got that pull? Or do you still think we're going to be that club where the big players like Van der Ven and Romero, for example, will get offers from the likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, etc., and go, you know what? I love Spurs, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's good you brought Van der Ven into this because I sure as hell was going to. You look at people like Heung-min Son, who has proven his loyalty. Whether people want to say, yeah, but he's 1-0 or he's getting on. That man has given everything to this football club. There's had opportunities. He's like, nope. When it comes to, see, the thing I will say with Romero, we all know when it comes to South American players and 2 certain clubs in Spain, you put 2 and 2 together, normally 9 times out of 10, it equals 4. And especially when you're getting down to, like you said, the 2-year left in your contract. What I think people put that together, and Real Madrid have started to look at Romero. I actually think Cuti Romero loves London. He's come out and said it a load of times. He's vice captain. Yes, he's won a World Cup. Yes, he probably wants to win things. Spurs have got to start acting now. Like we're saying right now, planning for the future windows, January. I remember at a time under Peak Poch, where contracts were getting signed left, right, and centre. It was like, oh, he signed a new one. Oh, he signed. Then he signed about 3 in 18 months. Cuti, I don't know, but if I said, and I hate, this is probably the worst sentence I'm ever going to say in my life. If I was Daniel Levy, I would have had Van de Ven's agents in the training ground this week. What do you want? How long for? I would tie it down right here, right now, and go, right, what do you want? Because this man, like we did, in fair credit to the club, Spurs did it with Destiny last year. Destiny started off on fire. And one thing I do approve with Spurs doing, they bring in these players like a Destiny I use, for example. They put them on a okay wage. And then they gradually, like they've taken it, I think it was on 15 or 20, they went up to 50. They didn't go, right, you're an £100,000 a week player. So we'll give you 50. You start excelling again, you'll get another one. Kind of performance related, like a bonus. Spurs have got to start looking there now because teams will look at our players.
Of course.
Teams will look, and then what you've got to look at it, like you said, when it comes to the length of time of the contract, we all know what this club, one of our biggest gripes is that we've kept the bad players for too long or overvalued them. Or overvalued them so no one comes in for them. Then their contract runs down. We're at a tricky spot with Romero now. I think Romero signs. I don't think Romero's going anywhere. I really do believe that. I really do believe that.
See, I think the complete opposite. I'm happy to be wrong. I just can't see, Brian, that let's use the 2 big ones in Spain. Right?
Let's do it.
I can't see that Barcelona or Real Madrid turn around and look, we know how these things work. They'll reach out to his agent. First and foremost, they won't reach out to Tottenham Hotspur. They'll reach out to his agent and go, what's Christian saying? Right? What's Christian Romero saying? Is he happy at Spurs? Oh, he's happy. Okay. What would tempt him to leave? Okay, well, he's on, I'm making this up. He's on 75 grand a week. I don't know. He's on 75 grand a week. He wants 200 grand a week. He wants to be guaranteed first team football. He wants a £15 million signing on bonus, blah, 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 blah. I fail to believe that once these clubs have these conversations, that he looks at the likes of Barcelona. And obviously, they've got money stuff they need to sort out, which it looks like they're slowly but surely doing. I can't believe that Barcelona or Real Madrid, for example, approach a Cuti, approach a Mickey van der Ven in the next year or two, and these guys say not interested. I just can't. I love Spurs more than anything. I just think it's a club that we don't win anything. We don't challenge for the big pots. And these, you summed it up, Brian. You said this, not me. You said it. These South Americans, especially, forget Mickey van der Ven, these South Americans grow up wanting to play
for Real
in La Liga for Barcelona, for Real Madrid. And
listen, there's no getting away with it. It doesn't matter if you play for Tottenham, if you play for United, if you play for Liverpool. If you play for Liverpool, perfect example. Look at Coutinho. Coutinho was flying at Liverpool, but he held out. He wanted to go. Like when we let Luka Modric, although it's not South American, Chelsea came in. We're like, no, give us one more season. Real Madrid came. These two clubs, no matter South American or not, when these 2 clubs get mentioned, it's like, oh, hello. Like Jude Bellingham, our people don't often get the chance when they come. And it is with the South Americans a big thing. I I'm putting my hope and faith that Romero's love for Spurs is greater than what it is. But what I will say this as well, I also reckon a lot of this with Romero, if we get to, let's say, a Europa League final, an FA Cup final, a semi-final, whatever, there is progression. There's huge progression. Sure. And also, and stays the whole season, which he will, thank God.
I can't see him going anywhere.
And then it's like, do you know what Spurs actually look like? They're committed. If you look at it, I know for a fact, if Conte was still here, Romero's out the door. He would have been out the door that summer if he was still there. But you look at it, Romero, who's been in now, what, 4 years? 4, I think, maybe 5.
I can't even remember, 3 years.
He came in under Nuno.
Yeah, he did.
There's that Conte, Mason, Stellini, and now Ange.
Yeah.
And Ange is on the verge of outlasting all 4. Yeah. So he's been here like 3 or 4 years. He's had 5 managers. I think there's a bit of continuity at Spurs, and hopefully Ange is that. Then players might go, do you know what? Something could be building. We're getting to finals. We're getting to advance. I think if we have a bad season, then this Romero thing might be an issue.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And by the way, I'm not trying to sell off our players. I'm literally,
you're not at all.
I'm looking at history and saying,
yeah, that's the problem. History.
Because another one is, if we don't finish higher than last year in the league, right, and we'll caveat that without winning the Europa League. If we don't finish higher, it's another year where a player like Romero is going to look at the 36 teams playing in the Champions League as a World Cup winner, and he's going to say, I belong in there. And whether we like it or not, players love the Champions League, whether we say it or not. So listen, I just think it's a really interesting topic. And it's one that when I think a lot of people talk about projects and processes, that's great. But sometimes I think you've got to think of the players because, and we can go into this topic another day, but Son's another one. You know, in 2 years' time, Sonny is going to be 34, 35. If then you've lost Sonny due to age, and then Romero goes to, it puts a lot of pressure on your transfers. It puts a lot of pressure, and it means that you've got to then suddenly stop buying kids, and you've got to replace these players. But listen, Brian, I am going to leave it there. Listen, really enjoyed that, and as I said, I called it Savva Dagul Discuss, a weekly Spurs review with a twist. It's your turn next week to think of the topics. By the way, please get over to Tottenham on Tour and subscribe. I will, of course, put the link in the chat. Please leave your comments. Please, I will be in the chat section. This is going to premiere at 3:30 p.m. UK time. It's going to premiere. So I will be in the chat section. Maybe
I will. Maybe I will. Because I like listening to my own voice, apparently.
There you go. I'm always in the chat section because I think, listen, I've built a platform for people. I feel like it's the right thing to do. I do not like those it's not my style to be one of those YouTubers that doesn't read comments. You know, I only read out super chat. It's not me. Brian, love you to death, man. I'm going to leave it there. Guys, girls, please smash the like. Please go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Please subscribe to Football Heritage TV. We are now currently sitting 185 away from 14,000. As I said, when we get to the 14,000, I have 2 Premier tickets to give away for Tottenham Hotspur versus Ipswich. And you will also win a free Spurs shirt. Can't say more than that. So please, there's two tickets up for grabs, a Spurs shirt. All you've got to do is like, subscribe, and once we get to 14,000, we'll do that draw. Take care, everyone. And as always,
leave it out.
You Spurs.